Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. The Royal St. Lucia Police Force is cautioning residents that being under the influence of alcohol will not save anyone from the law. St. Lucia and Grenada have been ranked as two of the countries within the region for in-alcohol use above the world average. Nisha Charles tells us more.
COVID-19 continues to slow down daily life, but the pandemic has not stopped crime from taking place. In the United States, domestic violence, child abuse, and drug and alcohol-related crimes continue to abound. St. Lucia has had its own share of crime throughout the pandemic, including serious crimes like homicides, gender-based violence, as well as those relating to alcohol. St. Lucians have already been warned about their alcohol consumption, which is past the world average, which can lead them down a dangerous path. During a panel discussion organized by the Substance Abuse Advisory Council Secretariat, the press officer of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, Corporal Ann Joseph, warned that being under the influence while committing these offenses is not an excuse in law.
The Criminal Code Section 28 speaks about intoxication not being an excuse as long as you were the one who voluntarily took in that substance, whatever it may be, whether it's alcohol or some other inebriating substance. You are responsible for the repercussions. There are exceptions, like I said, if you did not take the alcohol voluntarily and you committed an offense thereafter, you may have a defense. It does not mean that the police will not charge you, you won't go through the process. You may have a defense, but you will have to convince a judge and jury, jury or a magistrate as it relates to your guilt or innocence on that specific point.
Corporal Joseph said that being under the influence actually makes the consequences worse.
People believe that you're going to get a hall pass, so to speak. If you use alcohol, the police believe you're drunk, they'll just say, oh, that person was drunk. There's no excuse in law. It actually makes it worse for you if you are intoxicated, because there are sentencing guidelines that there are aggravating factors like the abuse of alcohol. It will actually adversely affect you rather than provide you with an excuse.
The Substance Abuse Secretariat has described the consumption of alcohol in St. Lucia as a growing national concern, particularly among the youth and people within the productive sector. For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reporting.
Dennery fishermen are calling for quicker payment for their services from the fishing port. One fisherman says at times it takes up to a year for fishermen to receive payment, which is unfair, as well as taxing on their wallets. He says the worst part is that they have no choice but to accept the unfairness.
The fishermen of the Dennery community are fed up and are asking the powers that be to give them what is due to them. The fishermen complained that it takes months to receive payment for their hard-earned hauls from the fishing complex in Dennery. One fisherman, who goes by the name Mr. Cox, was the voice of his colleagues as he explained how they are at a disadvantage as they are part of a one-sided business deal.
What affects most of we fishermen in Dennery is the point of selling fish for the fishing complex, and we get our paid late. For example, when we need our gas, we have to buy the gas from the gas station, and if we don't have cash, we cannot get the gas. At least if the fishing complex would have at least patronized our money or have some communication with the Texaco and say, look, I'm giving a certain amount of money for the fishermen because we literally paying them and they cannot get the money in time, and they just need the gas to go to sea. Okay? I mean, that would make more sense instead of saying a year or two without we getting our money. It doesn't make any sense to us because it's very difficult and it's very tight on us. Because most of the times, like we come from the little point of you little fish you'll sell for the ordinary people outside there. It cannot contribute to make a jerrycan of gas, and you sell most of your fish for the complex. I mean, it really affects us a lot.
Mr. Cox explained the payment breakdown, stating that fishermen have no choice but to accept the unfairness.
We have a payment for agreement when it comes to fish, and we doesn't have a basic price for fish. I mean, they pay you whatever they say they think $4 is $4. You have to sell it for them because you have nowhere to go with it. You don't have a choice. And most of the time it's later already, you cannot see you can hustle it, so definitely you have no choice to sell it for them. But when you sell it for them, expect your money in the next nine months, a year and a half, and that's very bad. So it affects us a lot. Even our vessels just get damaged, and which we need the money to repair our vessels. We cannot get that money, and there's nowhere we could go for that.
Mr. Cox has been a fisherman for over 40 years. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
In November, Hot 7 TV featured residents of Mark Bexon who expressed concerns about land slippage and the possibility of flooding. 4 months later, residents say there have been no moves to address their plight. One resident says the road leading up to his house may collapse at any time.
Residents of Mark Bexon say they continue to be fearful that the roads leading to their houses will collapse soon. Following land slippage in the area after some continuous rains in November, residents took to the media in an attempt to bring more attention to the matter. More than 4 months later, the residents say nothing has been done about the roads. John Matherin says the situation needs to be handled with more urgency.
The minister came to me, he told me that he will get some basket to solve the problem. It's going up to 4 months now, and nobody never come and talk to me and told me, well, when they will start, they take all the basket, they lay it down by my uncle home, and they said that they will get the contractor to come and have a look. He come and have a look with the minister, and they tell me they will start soon as possible. Right now we have over 4 months, the basket is there, nobody have been coming and going to the office up and down. They're telling me, Mr. Guy is not in office, I have to leave my name. And up to now, I not get no call, nothing from the minister. And I'm seeing that the crack is getting worse. All inside of my home have been cracked. I'm not blaming the minister. I won't say it's the minister's fault that caused that to happen. But at least he could assist me in a way.
He is fearful that if there is continuous rainfall anytime soon, his house too may be damaged. The perennial issue, he says, puts lives at risk.
I have children in the house and I have my whole family in the house, and it's very scary for me to live in a home like that. When it's rainy, sometimes we have to think twice where we're going to shelter, where we're going to run. And I'm very disappointed in that, because I'm saying as a minister, something like that happen, we have children in the house and you are the one we represent in our place, that you should really stand for us at the right way. That's the way I'm saying it. I'm asking the minister to come and have a look and work soon as possible on this story to see that if he could solve the matter that's going on there right now. Because every time the rainfall, we have the land have been breaking up to a day or two now.
The community of Bexon is one of the island's flood-prone areas and has been battered by storms over the years. Interventions have been undertaken to help mitigate flooding in the area over the years, including the desilting of the Bexon River. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
As Castries Mayor Peterson Francis and the Castries Constituency Council CCC continue to crack down on the number of mobile vendors in Castries, one well-known tomato vendor is asking what is he to do now that his daily bread has been taken away. Rochelle Gonzalez tells us more.
If you live in or around Castries Central, and even if you don't, but frequent the city, then you have most likely heard the calls of Caius Lionel, also known as Tomatos, as he walks around selling his tomatoes. Whilst his calls have become somewhat of a staple alongside Glokoko, Koteuni Mala, and of course, Netwaye, his calls could soon become a thing of the past as Castries Mayor Peterson Francis and the Castries Constituency Council embarks on a campaign to keep vendors inside of the Castries market and of the city's sidewalks and streets. Lionel opened up to Hot 7 TV to explain how this crackdown is seriously affecting his life.
My problem today, I lose my job and I just on the street.
Tell me what happened to you. How you lose your job, Tomatos?
They take him out the road, don't roll trolley, I do have to sell on the road. But if I can sell on the road, you're supposed to look for a job for me. I need a job. I can't go and sit on the road and buy Kenti Kabawe for the whole day, and when I go in on slurry without nothing. Because I left on slurry to come in town to make a bread, and my father blind, I want to look after my father. Bon, c'est bêtise, c'est bouc ça a fait moi là. Because over 20 years I doing that. I never work for nobody. Over 20 years I doing that kind of work. Sell tomatoes, cucumbers, dashing, sweet potato, everything. Christophine, everything. And today, look, that government just stopped me on the road. And right now I can't do nothing for myself. I can't feed my father right now there.
Lionel said it is only fair that he is given employment by the people who took his income away from him.
This morning I left my home. A dry bread I give my father. Because I can't buy a tin of sausage, I can't buy a cheese to check it. When I was doing that on the road there, every morning my Bedford father, well proper, well all right. His cheese, tuna fish, or what, yeah, everything.
So what they take away from you, tomatoes?
My trolley, they don't want me to roll on the road. And that I dip in on my trolley. And I want to go back on the road. If they can't let me to go back on the road, give me a job. Look for something for tomatoes. Because I go frustrated.
Lionel said he has adjusted his trade. However, his body is paying a high price for the small amount that he's making.
You can mash out dirty man here. Me someone take a fire. Massa fire go. Also like having play with them. Parce que pas toute la journée ça, on prend là même des bois moi qu'à 6 pendant l'emprunt. Et c'est pas l'argent I win from ça. I can't do other week with that. I can't do other week. You check it. A day work, I can't do that with that pan here there. You see that basket there? I can't do a day work. So them fellas have to look after tomatoes. Or give me my trolley to roll. It doesn't matter I give nobody else the trolley, but tomatoes self, because over 20 years I'm doing that.
Since the beginning of the crackdown, vendors have been up in arms over the removal and confiscation of the trolleys. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
You're watching the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Stay with us. There's more news coming up after the break.